Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Douglas James. So I wanted to just kind of make this video and just say Happy New Year. It's 2023 now. It's a brand new year, brand new opportunity, brand new chance to be the best version of yourself, right? So I I know that the holidays can be tough. People are feeling lonely, they're feeling the blues. They might be looking at their finances and having to spend more money on gifts or travels, and they're kind of seeing their bank account go down. And people aren't able to travel. Maybe they can't afford to travel or can't afford to buy gifts because they don't have the funds, right? Or X number of reasons. So I know that the holidays can be tough, and we're kind of coming out of like, as I'm recording this video, it's January 4th right now. I just think that the message that I wanted to share with you today is just relevant. And I think it needs to be said because no one's really going to talk about this stuff. Everyone's going to be excited to go do whatever. But, I think it's important that we kind of like pump the brakes just for a second and look at some things before we get impulsive, before we say something we don't mean, before we do something we don't mean, before we discredit ourselves or make ourselves look like a fool in front of other people or anything like that, right? You always want to show up as the best version of yourself, being respectful, being friendly, being kind to other people. You never want to be disrespectful or take away, be a taker, right? You want to be a giver 100% of the give, because life gives to the giver and life takes from the taker. And if you're somebody that takes and takes and takes and you never give anything, you will never receive anything. Right. So I just think that some of these things I want to say in this video and just address a few things that I think can be helpful for you in 2023 to have success in business and life, family, and all these different things, So I was just sitting, I'm recording this. It's for me of time recording, it's like 7:30 p.m. January 4th. It's a Wednesday night. And I'm just kind of sitting around and I'm just seeing people online, just some people being very negative, very hateful and disrespectful to other people, on social media or in groups, and saying things and discrediting themselves and making like a big scene, So I just feel like this message today, I hope it lands on good ears. I'm trying to come from a very humble, honest, transparent place to help you maybe realize and see some things to really make this year like your best year yet. Like if you're the type of person right now where you're like already orientating your mindset and the way you're showing up to throw in the towel and to quit, be disrespectful to people and be hateful and be negative online and all of these things, you will not make it in anything that you do. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes, So I really want to encourage you to be mindful of these things and just treat people with kindness and be positive. If you're somebody that's going to show up, have hatred in your heart, say stuff and be mean and disrespectful to people, like you're just not going to make it. So I did want to share some things in this video. And I'm not saying you might be listening to this call and you're like, Doug, I get that. I'm a very good person. I would never want to disrespect anyone. I always want to be kind to other people. That's good. Most people are good people. Most people are good people, but there is a small percentage of people that will do things and discredit themselves and make a big scene and hurt other people either physically or verbally, and they just don't care because they're super selfish. And I think that there's a level of selfishness that has to be had in every individual. We're all human beings. We're all selfish people, and that's okay. I'm selfish. You're selfish. We're all selfish. We all have things that we want in life, and sometimes we just don't care. We just want to go get them. But at the same time, there needs to be balance, and there has to be a level of respect with our peers and our teammates and our colleagues and just as human beings, right? It's okay to want and desire things, but you don't have to step over someone in order to get it. Right. So, yeah, I just wanted to share this message, guys. I have some slides and stuff on my screen, just some stuff. I was literally just sitting here Googling stuff, looking stuff up on YouTube, just trying to educate, because you guys know I'm always a student myself. I'm always trying to be a student and learn as much as possible. And, so I'm spending a lot of time right now, learning about like AI, looking at crypto stuff, learning about software technology and just kind of stuff that's coming down the pipeline. Because, technology is an evolution. It's changing daily and you have to stay on top of it, and sometimes people get frustrated and they throw in the towel and they're like, I can't do this. Like, I'm going to go back to TGI Fridays because I know I'm going to make whatever I'm going to make there. Or I'm going to go back selling cars, right? Oh my gosh, I have so much to share with you guys about cars. Like, it's crazy. But I think it's important to recognize these things now early. It's 2023, brand new year, brand new opportunity to show up bigger and better for yourself, for your family. And it's supposed to be a very exciting time. I think for a lot of people it is, but I think that there are in the back of a lot of people's mind, there's some things going on that are kind of scary for them. And I totally relate to that. There was times where I showed up from a scarcity place, from a scarcity mindset, and I did and said things that didn't get me closer to what matters to me, So I quit on things too early in the past that could have a very major asymmetric upside. But because I approached situations or a business or an opportunity or something from a negative place, or from a very like, oh, I'm too scared, or I'm not going to be able to do it, or whatever, then I missed out on that opportunity and I failed. And, and I think about those times anyway. I think I heard something the other day, and I'm going to get into some slides here on my screen, guys, or just some Google searches that I was making. But I heard something the other day. I forgot who was saying it, but like, if you think the price of, getting started is expensive, like wait till you get the bill from regret. That's like a big thing. Like if you think what you're doing right now is demanding and stressful and too much to be, overwhelming for you right now, wait until you quit because you can't handle it. And then you feel that regret. Like that is the worst feeling. That is the worst. If I could help you anything today on this video, is to don't put yourself in a place where you are going to regret something, because that is the worst thing. That is the worst thing, to throw in the towel at an opportunity and give up too early, too soon, and then live in that regret the next week, the next month, the next year. And then the people that you saw maybe partaking in that opportunity or jumping into that opportunity or doing the thing, you see them grow and prosper. You see them making money or buying cars or buying houses or watch or whatever it is, getting married, having kids. You're going to feel that regret. That is a tough thing. And I don't wish that on anyone at all, ever. So I just think there's a lot of things going on in the world right now that are affecting people's emotions, and they're having a hard time discerning what to do with what's going on, like in the world and the economy. So I think there's some key things I was looking up. I was just curious, like I did like a Google search. I was like, what percentage of people are depressed during the holidays, right? And you can see from the search, 55% of Americans are experiencing holiday blues, right? So that means during like the Christmas time or New Year's time, over half of the entire freaking country are basically depressed in some kind of way, shape, or form. Right? That's actually pretty sad because of loneliness and stuff, right? So I was looking up, there's some other stats that I was looking up, or why people are stressed and stuff during the holidays. A lot of it had to do with kind of some stuff that I mentioned on when I started the call, like can't afford to pay for gifts or travel, or they can, but it's like really tight. They're seeing their bank account go down. They're not able to be with family, or they're around family or friends that they don't necessarily care for because it's the holidays. They got to be around them, right? So it's a very strange time. The holidays, for me as an entrepreneur, there was a time in my life where I love Christmas always. Like Christmas is always amazing. New Year's is always cool because it's exciting. It's about to be a new time. You get to see friends and family you don't see all the time. But before I started in business and before I became an entrepreneur, I loved Christmas so much. It was like the number one thing for the year because I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy for 10 years. I got to go home, see my family. I got a break from work because I worked 50, 60, 80 hours a week sometimes, right? So for most people that are in like a 9-to-5 job situation or corporate or whatever, they really look forward to holidays because they get a break from work, right? And then when you become an entrepreneur or a business owner and you start to orient your mind towards creativity and producing and growth, those 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year's, I got to tell you, I just went through it and it was great. Got to see my family, got to play with my daughter. It was amazing. But I got to tell you, I was ready to get back to work. I was checking Slack. I was checking my emails. I was writing notes. I was firing off message to my team. I was like, we should do this promo. We should build this. And ended up coming with like some really great ideas to really move the needle on some stuff for 2023. So yeah, it was when you get to that level, it's like you want to go because people, and then your employees, your staff, organizations that you're a part of or work with, they got all their team, off for the holidays or whatever. So for like the hardcore entrepreneur, it's like, damn, it's like really hard to slow down and just appreciate and like not do nothing. Yeah. So it was a tough time. But, for you on this call, listening to me, maybe you're not a business owner. Maybe you are, and you understand what I'm saying here. But look, the bottom line here is the holidays is a weird time for people, right? Financial stress, and all these things, the blues, being lonely, right? Or people might be missing loved ones. Maybe you had a significant other or a loved one or grandmother or mom or something like that, and you just want to be with them because you remember all the Christmas. It's tough. I got to tell you, it's tough. I had just a few days ago, actually on New Year's Day, my great uncle passed away, and it's probably the biggest loss that I think my family has had in a very long time, and it's definitely the closest one to me because I'm 35 years old now. I have living grandparents. My parents are obviously, thankfully, they're alive, but I have living grandparents and I haven't really lost anyone close to me. So losing my great uncle, he was somebody that came around. He came to the family events and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, this one felt different. This felt different because it impacted my grandmother, impacted my family. For the last few days, I've been kind of digesting that. I'm going to have to fly to go to a funeral, unfortunately, but I'm going to be there for my family. So I'm happy that I have that flexibility and I can push some things to the side and make that happen. But yeah, people on the holidays, they miss loved ones, so I think this thing right here, my point of showing you this and some other things that I'm going to show you that I was looking up on Google here, it's really important to get Jack out the box, right? So a lot of us, Jack's in the box, right? So you get the little box, you wound the thing up and then and then Jack pops out. All these things in life, we want to try to get Jack out of that box on as much as possible, because the more we can do that, the more we can start to understand things. And then once Jack's out the box, we can't put him back in the box. Like in the real life, in the real world, you can't shove Jack back into that box. He stays out of the box. What that does, it forces you to deal with Jack. You want to deal with Jack. You want to deal with your problems. You want to deal with these things that are holding you back in life, right? We can't put Jack back in the box. You can try to shove him back away, but it's going to be buried deep in there. It's going to bother you, and you're eventually going to blow up, and you're going to do something that you shouldn't be doing. So once we see these statistics, once we kind of realize, you know what, I am lonely, or I do have financial issues and the holidays is hard for me. It's okay to have that. People have problems. People have things going on in life. You have to deal with that, though. You have to deal with Jack, right? You can't just shove Jack back in the box. So what you do is you look at your behavior and you modify it to make a better decision and make a better path for you going forward, right? So as soon as you start to hit signs of loneliness, depression, and now your mind's racing towards, I just need pain relief, so I'm going to go drink a bunch of booze or take these pills or, God forbid, do something else that I'm not even going to say on this call, please take a minute, take a step back, ask yourself, who in my life looks up to me, cares for me, loves me? Who in my life do I love, care for, and look up to? And realize that there is a circle of people around you that are there. And if you do something stupid, you will hurt many people. And you can never be that selfish to do something like that. Okay? So deal with Jack. Deal with Jack the best way that you can. Seek help. Ask a friend, ask a family member for help. Do something. I was just playing with Chat GTP the other day. You guys heard of this? AI, asking it a bunch of questions and I'm getting a bunch of answers. I'm like, wow, this is super cool. You can almost have a conversation and it make you feel better, So I was getting Jack out the box on a bunch of stuff that I was looking up the other day. I was just doing that like an hour ago when I was looking up this information here that I'm showing you guys. So deal with Jack, guys. Know this. Look, this is a normal thing for over half of the country to freaking feel like this. And chances are you probably felt like this. I just told you guys, I kind of felt like this as well. I felt a little stressed and depressed because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I want to go. I want to create. I want to grow. I want to be on meetings. I want to be talking with my team. Let's get this stuff done. But during that time, I have to practice restraint, slow down a little bit, make sure I'm here for my family, for my daughter, and take notes and learn and watch videos. Be a student, continue to be a student during this time. So you can still build during this time if you're somebody like me. So let me move to the next one. I was looking this up as well. This is another thing that's probably bothering a lot of people right now across America, layoffs, people getting laid off, losing their job. You might be in a 9-to-5 job right now or corporate or wherever you're doing. You could walk in one day and your boss is like, hey, I'm sorry, we had to let you go. We can't afford to pay your salary anymore. Well, you know what? That is happening at the biggest, fastest rate, like almost in the history of America right now. Look at this statistic. Throughout 2022, the monthly layoff rate has hovered around 1% of the workforce. Okay, so that's around 1.4 million people a month have been laid off in 2022. So what's the math on that? I don't have a calculator here. That's at least 12 million people. 0.4 times 12. What is that? 48. 4.8. About 16 to 17 million people laid off, okay, at a high glance. That's a lot of people. And it seems like it, from time of recording this video, okay, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. Amazon literally just released today, as I'm recording this video on January 4th, that they're laying off 18,000 people. Okay, 18,000 jobs. So I don't share with you this to scare you. This is all about getting Jack out the box so we can deal with Jack, right? I mean, frick, if you're in a job right now, I would be kind of concerned. No matter how good you think you got it, I'd be concerned. I would be looking for opportunities to make sure that you and your family are taken care of for the long term, right? I would look at things like creating your own economy. Like I was going to show this here in a minute. I got a couple other slides I'm going to show you, but I would look at creating your own economy. Like this is the legendary Bob Proctor. He passed away just a couple short years ago. I would learn from people that are where you want to be in life. Like a Bob Proctor, for example. Old deceased people that freaking built massive companies that had massive success, that had thriving relationships, thriving marriages. I would read from them and learn from them. Right? You can follow me and learn from me, but I'm looking at this. These are the people that I'm looking at, the people that were here, 100 years ago, or, over the 1900s and 1800s, and even massive kings and emperors, right? There's so much that we can learn from these people. You have to stay a student. You have to stay a student is the point. If you get into an opportunity or you try to start a business or whatever you're trying to do to create your own economy, and at the first sign of trouble or the first speed bump, you throw in the towel and quit. It's like, okay, so that's how you deal with your problems. You just give up and quit and you throw in the towel. You go into rooms of people and you're disrespectful. You discredit yourself. You don't want to be that kind of person. Your reputation, your credibility, everything that you have, that's all that's going to be here when you're gone. You talk about legacy. It's like, well, what kind of person was this person when he passed away? Now she is gone. They are gone. What kind of person were they? What are they going to be saying about you? You want them to say good things about you. You want your name to carry on and mean something when you're gone, right? Some of you guys, you might be listening and be like, Doug, I don't give a F about legacy. I'm just trying to pay my bills. I'm just trying to get this money. That's fair. That's fair for sure. But I talk to these, like my mentor, Dr. Jeff Spencer, he's 71 years old now. So now he's in a state of when you become like the old Yoda, you're really trying to give back and bring other people up. In your 80s, it's all about reconciliation. Hopefully, if you make it that far in the 80s and 90s, your relationships are all about reconciliation. Like who's in your life? What is your status with them? Is it good or bad? Can you go back and what can you repair? Because your time's coming to an end, right? Talk to me about these things. It's called the life lens progression. So right now in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you may not be so concerned with reconciliation or giving back so much because you're trying to get your own shit or stuff together. Right? Does that make sense? So that's fair. That's completely fair. But yeah, I think when we're looking at these things, we really need to start to orient ourselves because the economy, the government, the checks, stimulus checks, all that stuff to date is kind of gone. So you're on your own. The Fed's not coming to save you. By the way, Fed interest rates are going up and up and up. So we just got confirmation that mortgages, cars, credit cards are going to keep going up and being more expensive in 2023. So the Fed seems to be committed to getting inflation under control, which is a new word for tonight. I've said it before in my past videos. If you follow me, I've talked about inflation a lot. But inflation is at an all-time high. And it's actually been, if you look at inflation over a 100-year period, it has consistently gone up, right? So if I were to look up like the value of the dollar over 100 years, I could pull up that graph if I can find it. But like a dollar was basically worth $25 100 years ago. But because of inflation, a dollar is worth $1, if that makes sense. Like you could do what you can buy for $1 today, you could basically get 25 times that 100 years ago. So it's an average about 15% a year that you're losing on your dollar. So if you're holding on cash, if you got cash in the bank and you're one of those people like, I'm just going to get as many dollars as I can and save it in the bank because that's what you do. And you buy a house and you're like, okay, cool. I got my house, white picket fence, right? And you go into debt for that, but it's actually, you find out it's a liability. Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a home, a place to stay, but I feel like there's a certain point, there's a way to do it. If you're not focused on cash flow, if you're not focused on creating your own economy, if you're not focused on getting ahead financially for the long term, but you're focused on just acquiring liabilities, I think that might be something to consider looking at. I'm not going to tell anyone what they need to do. You shouldn't do anything. I'd say, maybe I'm a complete idiot on this video and I don't know why you're listening to me, right? These are just things that I observe. I'm a very analytical, critical thinker. I like to take a step back. I'd like to look at things differently than most and try to piece them together. So maybe some of this stuff makes sense for you, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But I think personally, my opinion is, cool. I want to have a house too. I want my daughter to run around, have a big yard, all that good stuff. But right now, for us, mobility is more important. Coming and going as we please, traveling. I'm speaking. I'm going, having this event, going to that event, meeting these people over there, going down here. For you, it might be different, but I think that again, with all this stuff going on with the interest rates and all the Fed, interest rates, I don't even know what it is right now. I think 7 point something percent, but they want to get it down to 2%. That's going to probably take another year or more consistently of cutting rates. So you really need to, at the end of the day, when you got all this stuff going on, creating your own economy, figuring out how you can increase your cash flow, get assets, invest in assets, buy things that are producing cash, learn a skill, do something that you can be of value to the marketplace and monetize that. Like go learn something, go on YouTube, right? Buy one of my programs. If you want to learn from me, fine. Or maybe you're already invested in it. Great. But be a student, go learn and do something. There's hundreds of things that you can do. You may or may not know, but my bread and butter was lead generation for small brick and mortar businesses. That's how I got my start. And then a lot of people wanted to learn what I was doing. So they kept asking me and bugging me to teach them. So I created courses and coaching programs and all that good stuff. You don't have to sign up for them, but that's just the way it goes. That's what I'm doing. So create your own economy. This is not a marketing pitch for my stuff. I'm just sitting here trying to make sense of some of this stuff. I'm seeing people be very super negative and say stuff online. And I'm just like, guys, you have not realized who Jack is in the box. Let's get Jack out the box on a video. Let's realize that we just came out of the holidays, that more than half of Americans are feeling some kind of way, depressed, loneliness, whatever you want to call it. We have a liquidity tightening happening in America right now. The stimulus checks stopped, right? People are being laid off. You don't have job security. You do not have job security. Even big CEOs of companies are going under. If you're a massive CEO making 500 grand a year, your company can go under. How many companies have gone down this year? I should look up that statistic too. The layoffs are continuing to happen. The Fed continues to tighten interest rates. So best thing you can do right now, be kind to people, be kind, don't discredit yourself, be respectful always, and know that you need to fix your stuff. You have to create your own economy, and if you have an opportunity to do that, I would not give up on that. This is what can give you and your family wealth long-term, or at least put food on the table today or long-term. I'll probably make another video on this, but this could be helpful to you on Facebook. I also did post it on Twitter and my Instagram. But I posted on New Year's Eve, 22 things I learned in 2022. I've had a lot of people email, direct message me, basically wanting me to go in more granular on a lot of this stuff, which I plan on doing. I think that'll be pretty cool because I was just playing with my daughter, literally on New Year's. And I'm just like, oh, let me put together a list of things I learned in 2022. And I was like, let's do 22. It's just like, it kind of just went together. And these are the first things that basically came to mind that I thought was of the most importance. You could even see number 9, baby girl shows daddy more love after 3 years old, right? So I was laying there with her, I realized that she's 3.5. And, for the last 6 months, I've gotten more love than I ever have gotten from my daughter. And it's like amazing, right? So that's one of them in there, earn your dopamine. A lot of people just want to make money, print money, and have the easy, fast life and look for the quick fix pill and just have a dopamine fireworks party all the time. It's like, no, you got to earn that shit. You got to put in the work. It's not going to happen for you. No one's coming to save you. That's the first thing I put. No one's coming to save you. I think that's probably should have started with this video saying that no one is coming to save you. I hope this is useful. You're welcome to look it up. Find it online somewhere. It's on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let me know in the comments what you think. Had a pretty good turnout on it, but I will make another video specifically going into each of these things more granularly, because I think that there's a lot more that can be said in each of these things and why they're significant, at least for me, and hopefully maybe you can relate. But yeah, guys, look, again, it's 2023, brand new year, brand new opportunity, brand new you. I didn't say this in the beginning of the call, but I'll say it now. I think you'll find a lot of successful people that get it, that have been in the game for some time. You're seeing them basically having some of the biggest months or successes in 2022, and it continued in Q4. You might have seen them posting, landed this client, landed this deal, making this per month. October, November, December. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting till January 1st to, make my big goal and do my big thing. This guy over here is posting, he's already crushing it. Like, like what's going on with me? I would be careful with New Year's resolutions because, what you're waiting for a date to come, like we're January 4th now. So you might be waiting until January 15th because maybe that's when your leave ends, or maybe that's when you're back from the holidays officially, or whatever it is, putting something off to a date because of a resolution or whatever, you're putting off what you should have been doing last year. You're putting off what you should have been doing probably 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Just freaking do it. Just freaking do it. Nothing's going to happen by planning. Like, people like to make these vision boards, and, vision boards are cool. I honestly never had one. Put all these plans together and do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. You did all that shit. You have a 20-page Google Doc of your strategy and your plan. How much money are you making? Oh, I'm still broke. Well, what the F, dude? Like, get to work. Like, done is better than perfect. Like, just get out there and do something, and don't worry about failing. Don't worry about it being perfect. Focus on the 1 or 2 things that matter, right? Just 1 or 2 things. That's it. Like, you got 1,000 things you got to do. Great. What's the 1 or 2 things you need to go right, like, in the next 5 minutes in order for you to tackle the next thing on that list of 1,000 things, right? People are focusing on all that stuff. I hope that makes sense. I'm just here, just trying to be helpful and useful to you guys in 2023. And I just want everyone to be kind to each other, be as successful as possible, provide value to the world, to your family, but do it in a kind way. Because this whole posting negativity online, being hateful towards people, going into rooms and being super selfish and demanding and making up a storm and a scene to other people is only going to bring discredit to yourself and keep you in. No one's going to want to help you. Like I said before, life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. And that will continue to be the orientation of humans and life and karma and all that for probably eternity. So I wish you guys a prosperous, healthy, amazing 2023. Go out there, crush it. You guys are welcome to look me up online. In the description below this video, there should be a link to my social medias. Following me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you'd like. I post regular stuff, regular content on my YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Just want to help you get closer to what you want and what matters to you. So if you like this, let me know. There might be a button below, or there might be a place to put a comment. If you got anything useful out of this, I'd love to hear your feedback. But go out there and make this the best year. Make this the best you. It's an opportunity to be the best version of yourself for you, your business, for your family, and of course your legacy when you're gone. So let's go out there and let's just be powerful people, give value, and love one another, right? All right, I'm going to end this. You guys have a good one. Thanks.